Relax, some people, brother, others attitude. Ain't no time for ego or bad attitude. So, get your back up off the wall. All we came to do is geeks and freaks come out to the party. We just came to land with the posse. DJs cutting, the B-boys are strutting, cause all we came to do is geeks and freaks come out to the party. We just came to land with the posse. DJ cutting, the B-boys are strutting, cause all we came to do is...
What is up, everybody? It's Bloodstalker 101, and we're back in ARK on PC, and guess what? You see it up here. Up in the top right hand corner, October 21st, ARK version 2.48, or 248, down here in the bottom. We're on 248.3. That's right, the new update finally hit for PC. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means a whole slew of things, first off. Let's just talk about the core 248, okay? And let me just turn that down. Ah, so much better. Alright, so what does that mean? Well, it means a whole lot of things. Number one, if you have a custom ini file, game ini file, and if you don't know what that means, then you don't need to worry about it. If you got a custom ini file, game ini file that you've set up to add more points per levels, for dinos, for anything that affects your local game that you use, you need to keep in mind that ini file got reset. It happened accidentally. It was not something they were meaning to do. They have completely modified their engine source code to keep it from not doing that in the future updates. However, on 248 it did do it. It annihilated mine. So if you've got it set where you can go inside the caves, for people who watch my channel and watch a lot of my Xbox content, on Xbox it's all pretty much sliders just like this screen. It has multiple tabs for that storage stuff. It has checkboxes for like riders and caves, allow platform structures, all that stuff. Well, for PC, you have to manually edit your ini file, which is a text. You do it in text editor, just like text or whatnot, Notepad or whatever. And you can. That's how you do it. That's how we do it on PC in order to make our local game more modded or whatnot without having to add mods. So, because of that, this update wiped it out. So, always keep a backup of your ini file. I do. I keep a backup. I have a backup folder that once I create a new ini or add anything to it, is I tweak it just in case something goes wrong with it. So, lesson be learned: if you didn't do that, make one. For your servers, it wiped your ini file out for your servers as well. So if you run an ARK server, that ini file got wiped out. So everybody who runs their own private unofficial server is screwed. Which that brings us to Four Horsemen. If you guys are playing on the Four Horsemen server and you watch my channel, I haven't talked to Chuck tonight about it. This is pretty late. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, so I don't know what's going on. So if you can't get on the server, that's why. He had to turn off the auto updater because something got screwed up in it in one of the updates a while back. So he has to manually update it for right now. So when all that's said and done, hopefully we'll be able to fix a lot of this crap. So anyway, now that we got that part out of the way, this new update introduced a whole slew of things. First off, you can wield weapons while mount riding certain dinos, a lot like the Raptors, the newer dinos they added, things like that. So you can shoot a gun, you can shoot a bow, you can throw a spear, you can do whatever while riding a dino. It's pretty cool. The second thing that they added in, they updated the new mechanical explorer notes. We've all seen the explorer notes on there. However, what this really did was it added more information about the game and the whole purpose of this whole storyline. So again, they're just setting the foundations for the story. The other thing it added in was 3 new dinos. The I'm going to slaughter the name, Caprosuchus, the Diplocalus, and the Chalicoruthrum. Anyway, y'all can make fun of me in the comments all you want. That's pretty cool. One of them's like a salamander type dino. It's a water dino. Another one is like a Sarco with bigger, little taller legs and that jumps. And I've got some footage of that in the video on one of the procedurally generated ARK. I basically came home and recorded footage without commentary because it was during the daytime, the kids are in here watching TV, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I'm doing this after the fact, like several hours later after we finally got more information about some of the patch notes that they did, and they've actually patched it more since I recorded earlier. So we'll talk about that when we get into procedurally generated ARKs. This is a big update, like I said, though. They fixed some rendering batches issues. They optimized it. The tree platforms added hit points too. You now have the neuter spay option for your tame dinos. It's irreversible, so keep that in mind when you do it. Now, why do you ask for that? Well, they added in the breeding mechanics and the basically you can no longer keep breeding your dinos over and over again or inbreed them. So, you know, if you're a breeder of dinos, you take pride in that and you try to make like a perfect super dino, you're going to start, if you do it too many times, you're going to start getting some issues. So, what the neuter spay option would be for is if you've got one that you bred, you can't breed no more, let's just be like Bob Barker used to say, and let's neuter spay your animal. So anyway, I'll take care of that. They fixed the radial wheel menu for the Diplodocus because it was so huge. Spectators can now see players talking, their lips moving in their spectator mode for admins on servers. Fixed players' collisions on the big dino ragdolls. Non-drop in supply crates, cave underwater crates, no longer have decreasing health over time, no longer auto-destroy. But they can also not accept inventory anymore like you used to be able to. So like you used to be able to like slap something in there to keep it open. You can't do that no more. They did a system to completely add, subtract, override all map NPC spawners via any file, highly useful for PGM for the procedurally generated maps. Spawn tweaking, fully mod NPC compatible as well. So they're making things easier for the mods, people who create mods. Now, that's the main update. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge. The biggest part of this update was the procedurally generated ARKs. Now, if you notice up in the top left-hand corner, you see Create New Procedurally Generated ARK. So you click there and look at this. You have all your stuff. I do not... You can mess with the spawn locations all you want. It's not going to work. You're going to spawn... Wherever you spawn in the first time is where you're going to spawn every time. I don't know why. I don't know when that's going to fix, but... I don't know. For some odd reason, every time I died, I kept spawning the same place. So if you get far away from your main spawn point on your procedurally generated map, I suggest you make a bed pretty quick or a sleeping bag or something down so you don't spawn back all the way there. Because this does create a lot of water map on it too, and high mountain peaks and everything. I've created a couple of different ones. The first one for the footage you're going to watch, it took a while to make and it maxed my CPU out to 100%. I'm running a 4.2 gigahertz AMD chipset, 8 core. By no means is it the top end, but it's by no means is it low end, and it maxed it out and hit the core temperature went up to 145 degrees Fahrenheit for like probably about a good 4 or 5 seconds, and then dropped back down a little bit. But it was pretty intensive. Well, they fixed that part, some of these patches. So this is what's happened since the update came out this morning. They fixed issues with the center preventing player connections on center map. This was .1. Fixed issues with dinos not eating or updating. Some parts of their AI require server update, so have to do that. Then .2, fixed override difficulty level on servers, require server update. Fixed permissions on neutering. Fixed the Diplodocus onboarding movement to local players. Then .3, fix collecting explorer notes while on dinos, get XP buff when you're collecting it on a dino. Fix crash case with clients on procedurally generated maps. Still have issues on Linux servers. So that the .3 is what fixed the issues on the procedurally generated ones. So, and down here at the bottom it says warning. The procedurally generated ARK system is currently highly experimental. Your saved procedurally generated ARKs will necessarily be wiped in subsequent updates as the dynamic algorithms are further developed. We only recommend using the system at the present time if you're willing to accept the frequent clearing of your maps or your data, just in sense. So keep that in mind. If you're wanting to start, playing on here and like playing in your local world or whatnot, even though it's your local world, it's going to get wiped. If you run a server and you do a procedurally generated server, it's going to get wiped. It's not like maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's definitely going to get wiped because they're going to keep tweaking it. This highly experimental portion, and notice it's in all caps, is basically to tell you, hey, we're putting this out here let us know. Play with it. And so I would highly encourage you to play with it. Just don't get too attached to what you do. You got your map seed number and all this stuff. I don't know what did. I mean, I can tell you, increasing the values increases the amount. For some reason, I did something. I thought I was doing rocks like stones, and it put a shit ton of little bitty stones on my map, and I didn't mean to. I'm trying to find where that one was on here now. Ocean floor level -1. Water level 0.72. I'm going to put that down to -0.65 to give me more land, because there was a lot. I might even go -5.5. Then we'll drop that down to -1.5. Make it deeper. I'm trying to find something about mountain frequency 8. This is ridiculous. I mean, mountain slope 1. Height. I dropped the height down, but still put a bunch on there. I'm going to mess with mountain slope. I don't know. I don't know what to do on that one. We'll have to figure that out. I'm not going to start one off because I need to delete my local one I've already started, because I don't want that map. I'm not too keen on it. So, and I don't use 459. I wouldn't recommend it. I didn't like it. I don't know if maybe if I tweak my settings better, I don't know. But you got like depth water biomes, depth. You have all this stuff in here. I have not found any caves. There's nothing about caves on here. So I don't know. That's one thing to think about. So all I can say is give it a try. Let me know what you think. Now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you the footage of what I recorded. I'll do some commentating over it. It's not going to just be dead silence. So I'm actually recording this live right now, and then I'll go back in. And when I throw all this into the editor, I'll fix it all up so I can explain some stuff of what's going on in the map that I created earlier. So as far as it goes, though, man, it's the best update for the ARK, core update to the core game ever. The procedurally generated ARKs are badass. Once we can start understanding the numbers and the settings, it will be better. The terrain settings, like I said, I would knock the mountains down a little bit, because there's way too many mountains on them automatically. Not sure why, but there's a ton of them. And there's some of them that you can only get up there, and plus there's some that start right at the shoreline. There is no shoreline on it, so that's another thing to think about too. So without further ado, folks, check it out. Alright, now this was my first attempt at making a procedurally generated map. Playing with the gamma a little bit. Now, what I've noticed on these are the gamma and the settings are just like the island. So it's kind of like being on the island. I think that's the core of what's behind this. Not the center or scorch or anything, but actually the island components. So I ran it about gamma 1.5, 1.6, and it darkened it up a little bit. Made it look pretty good. There was a point where I turned the grass all the way on just for the effect of it. After probably a couple minutes of doing that, I just backed it right back down, just to keep it down, because it was really annoying or whatnot. But honestly, I mean, the first map I made actually was a pretty cool map. Again, my biggest problem with this game, with the procedurally generated, and it's going to get fixed, I'm assuming. Or learning how to fix it, basically, is what it is. But it's the spawn points for dinos. This was all recorded earlier today, probably around, I think, before .3 came out. Excuse me, sorry for that pop. But this was recorded before .3 came out, and because of that, I don't know if that played a little bit of the problems I was experiencing, or if it was something else. But like the dinos, and afterwards the dinos were harder to kill, and I think it might have been me messing with the ini file too much, which I'm going to go back and fix all that. I'm going to clean up my own ini file and everything else that's out there on my local game, just so because I want to play with it some more and kind of test it out. But the biggest issue I kept running into is like dinos spawning. I didn't see a lot of the new dinos at this point on the map. I didn't see a lot of anything. I mean, I was seeing them as they were spawning in. Now I just created this world, so it's going to take time as you load in chunks of the map and biomes. It'll start spawning. But you got to keep in mind that you don't know what spawns where. It's not like the islands. You know that around the mountains you're going to get giga spawns, or you know where on the island where giga spawn at. You know on the center map where they spawn at. You know where T-Rexes usually are. Things of that nature. And so, with that being said, you got to be careful when creating your base. I would recommend, personally, my personal opinion is building a raft base and staying on there for right then. If you're playing your local game, you can just quit out wherever you want, but don't try setting up a base, start building a big base or whatnot anywhere nearby until you know for sure what's around you. Because I actually started a second game and I didn't record it because I ran out of hard drive space, which I didn't realize I was running low on, so I had to clean some stuff off of. But I recorded 30 minutes of footage and actually made a video, and I was going to put very little at the beginning of this one, this video I was doing, from the footage I recorded earlier, and just put like just a high level, this is what happens, how you do things. But I had like a little playthrough and just kind of exploring my new one I built. Well, during that, I found a really cool place to build. It was probably the best place to build on that procedurally generated map. It was a totally different one from this one. I've already deleted this map we're looking at now, but I found a nice place to build, and I found a mountain. I ran up it to see if they had metal on it. It had metal at the top of it, and it also had a Giga at the top of it. And you know how Gigas are. I took off running, and the Giga caught up with me, killed me. I spawned back at my boat, and I got out of Dodge, and that was pretty much it. Fortunately, I did not have that footage. It was pretty funny though. But all in all, it's really cool. Now this is the other point is, if you see there's two alpha raptors back there. I ran into a lot of alphas on here, or a lot of the alpha spawns on here. I don't know where they spawn at either, but it could be anywhere. So just understanding that the spawn points are going to be all over the place on it, and they're probably going to be the first thing. It's probably going to be one thing they start looking at. I don't know, but just keep that in mind. You don't want to be in a position where you get screwed over because of that. Now, I'm sorry all this is fast forward in there, but I didn't want to make a 30 or 45 minute or an hour long video flying around just one procedurally generated world. So I sped all this all up 5 times in order to show it. And I mean, if you look, I mean, without me popping in my menus, but if you look around, you see what it does. You see the mountains and stuff, and it really is cool. It's beautiful. I mean, it does a wonderful job. I mean, drops are not crazy. I did get some good drops out there, but at this point, I think ARK Comes Alive was still enabled as my mod, so I don't know if that was part of the problem or what. I think it should work on here. They updated ARK Comes Alive, so I think they added the new dinos to it, so we'll wait and see, because it updated pretty quick. But all in all, it's probably one of the, I know I said this earlier, but this is the coolest update I've seen ARK put out. I mean, Scorched Earth was cool because it's new content, but I mean, it was a paid-for downloadable content. This is actually something that Jeremy Stiglitz had envisioned from the beginning about making random maps. And I mean, what does this mean for map makers and modders? You know, Chuck and I had a discussion about that, and we were talking like, is it going to kill people making maps? I don't think it will, because these maps are cool. But Umasura, Center, you know, Valhalla, all these maps that people put time and effort into are still worth it because they're really cool and unique. These are cool and unique too, but I don't think they have the features like the core maps do with the caves and the artifacts and things like that. So eventually that's going to be put in there. Now these are the 2 new dinos. This is the Clopper, I'm not going to say it, but look at it, see how he dives at you. When I first came into this, looking at all this, now what happened was the Sarco whatever attacked the other dino, and they like flew up in the air. So there are some jumping bug mechanics wrong with it because it does lunge or whatnot. But the new dinos are pretty cool. But yeah, this is procedurally generated ARK, something that everybody thought wasn't going to be able to be possible. It's like, how are they going to do it? What are they going to do? They did it. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, this is just so freaking cool. You can make your own world. You get tired of it. You get tired of the world you're playing on, make another one. It's like how Minecraft is, except they're not just huge maps like Minecraft. So there's a lot of stuff. This just gives a lot of potential to things. So, you know, it's cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the update. I hope you're enjoying the update. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and smash that like button for me. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I do a lot of ARK content on Xbox. I do a lot on PC. We have our own PC servers, like I talked about in the beginning of it. It's open to the public. It's the Four Horsemen. Just look for Four Horsemen cross server or cross travel. But yeah, I mean, right now it's probably down because we're trying to fix some stuff with the new update because it wiped the ini file and all. But it's going to be there. So, but if you guys liked it, let me know. Leave a comment there. Tell me if you got a favorite seed that you found so far. Leave a comment and let me know. But as always, it's been Bloodstalker saying peace out, y'all.